massive solar storm struck the planet and triggered global chaos. Populations collapsed and much technology failed. In London, Jake, a captain in the British Royal Special Forces, walked toward a performance hall. He had survived the disaster and carried a mission from Princess August. She wanted her beloved violin recovered. Jake searched the hall and located the treasured instrument. As he prepared to leave, a group of armed thugs confronted him and demanded his belongings. Jake refused. Using precise shooting and strong shotgun skills, he eliminated them one by one. He hurried to the palace and returned the violin. The princess welcomed the instrument with relief and gratitude. Jake then went home to rest. The world was still burning in its afterburn. At home, he fed his dog and settled in for a quiet evening. With no phone or television, he snacked and daydreamed until sleep overtook him. Later, a sudden explosion woke him. Someone had stepped on a mine inside his house. Investigating, Jake found a fellow British soldier and trusted comrade. The soldier reported that King August was on his way. Jake met the king soon after. He asked why the king came in person instead of sending a messenger. The king said he wanted to see the outside conditions for himself. The king then gave Jake a new mission: retrieve the Mona Lisa from France. He warned that France was now controlled by rebels and handed Jake a detailed map. The king explained that he had already sent a female Special Forces soldier named Dree to recover the painting, but she had not returned. Hearing Dree's name, Jake accepted immediately. Dree was his girlfriend. The king urged him to leave at once. Before departing, Jake briefly asked the princess why the painting mattered during such turmoil. She only smiled and said he would understand later, reminding him to focus on the mission. Jake left immediately and boarded the only plane still in service to France. Soon after crossing into French airspace, the aircraft developed serious problems. With only one parachute available, the pilot ordered Jake to jump first and promised to attempt a water landing. Jake obeyed and leapt into the night. He landed safely and began moving through the ruined city. Looting was rampant and many buildings lay in ashes. Elsewhere, the rebel leader Volker played chess with one of his men. When the man nearly won, Volker killed him without hesitation. His right-hand man then reported that no one had located the Mona Lisa. Volker's group wanted the painting, though the reason for their pursuit stayed hidden. The next morning Jake continued his search. He soon witnessed rebels executing civilians who refused to obey orders. The brutality increased his concern for Dree, his girlfriend, who had started the same mission earlier. He decided to find her before searching for the painting. 3 rebels soon confronted him and demanded his belongings. Jake fought back and defeated them with precise combat skills. Another rebel appeared and aimed to shoot, but an unseen attacker struck first. The attacker was Dree. She quickly led Jake to a church where she had been hiding, keeping them both out of sight from rebel patrols. Inside, Dree introduced him to a priest and explained that King August had also sent Jake to retrieve the Mona Lisa. The priest backed their mission and offered his car for the long trip. With the rebels still distracted, they decided to leave that day. Before departure, Dree treated the wounds Jake had received in the earlier fight. Their plans were interrupted when rebels suddenly surrounded the church. The priest urged them to escape while he confronted the attackers. Dree hesitated, but the priest insisted he was ready to face the danger and tired of living under rebel control. The priest stepped outside to face dozens of armed men. When asked if he was hiding foreigners, he denied it. As several rebels entered to search, he drew a pistol and fired. They returned fire and killed him. Inside, Jake and Dree fought off the rebels who rushed in, then escaped using the priest's car. Rebels chased them, leading to a running gunfight. Dree threw grenades in all directions and killed many pursuers. After a long pursuit, they finally escaped and drove toward the next city where the map indicated the painting was hidden. Meanwhile in London, King August grew uneasy about the mission. The princess reassured him, confident Jake would succeed. Jake and Dree stopped for the night at a temporary shelter. By the campfire, Dree explained that the rebels were led by Volker, a former French general who betrayed his country after the solar storm. She knew Volker sought the Mona Lisa as well and said his forces were the reason she had not completed her task. When Jake asked why the painting mattered, she said he would understand after they found it. The next morning Volker arrived at the church with his troops. After hearing his lieutenant admit that the intruders were highly trained, Volker executed him without hesitation and ordered the pursuit to continue toward the next city. Meanwhile, Jake and Dree reached an abandoned French military weapons depot but found no useful supplies. Outside, they noticed a group of strange figures covered from head to toe. These locals had lost their sanity after the solar storm and tried to enter the depot. Recognizing the danger, Jake and Dree grabbed a few grenades and slipped out the back. Moments later, the intruders entered the building and triggered a massive explosion. Jake and Dree walked away without drawing attention. During the journey, Dree used a handheld radio to contact trusted allies in France. She asked them to move toward the next city and head to the location where the Mona Lisa was stored. They confirmed they would arrive within 2 hours. Meanwhile, Volker and his men reached the destroyed depot. They entered after spotting signs of the blast and found one of the strange survivors alive. The survivor reported that a foreign man and woman had taken weapons. Convinced these were the fugitives he hunted, Volker killed the witness and set out to pursue them. Jake and Dree soon arrived at the building that housed the Mona Lisa. They discovered the door to the paintings room locked tight. Searching the area, they found a building map and saw only one way in. Someone would need to descend into a deep well and swim underwater to reach a hidden passage that led directly to the chamber. Jake told Dree to stay outside while he attempted the dangerous route. Using a rope, he lowered himself down the shaft, then swam through the long underwater tunnel. He finally surfaced inside the chamber and unlocked the main door so Dree could enter. Together they faced the Mona Lisa at last. Jake was stunned to see the painting attached to a massive atomic bomb. The mission's true purpose was to secure the weapon, not the artwork. Dree admitted that King August had ordered her to keep the real objective secret. The bomb had been built by France before the solar storm for use against enemy nations, but the disaster halted the plan. King August feared the rebels would seize the weapon and use it without restraint. Dree's allies arrived to help secure the bomb. Still angry over the deception, Jake walked away, leaving her to finish the mission. Moments later, Volker and his forces stormed in, attacking Dree's team. Many of her allies were killed, and the squad was quickly overwhelmed. Volker stepped off his train, pleased to see the atomic bomb he had been seeking. He already possessed the key needed to arm it, the only way the weapon could detonate. He ordered his men to load the bomb onto the train and departed. Meanwhile, Jake felt a sudden sense of danger and turned back. When he reached the site, he found the area littered with bodies. He rushed inside, relieved to find Dree alive with only minor injuries. They quickly focused on stopping Volker. Without delay, they set off after the train. After a long pursuit, Jake spotted it moving along the track. He told Dree to keep driving and leapt aboard. Inside, he fought through Volker's men and defeated them one by one. He faced Volker's right-hand man in a brutal duel and eventually prevailed.
That one you're looking for?
Only Volker remained. Volker opened fire, but Jake dodged the shots and drove a metal rod through his hand, pinning him in place. At the same time, Dree detonated the bridge ahead. The train crossed and plunged into a ravine, killing Volker and destroying the route. Dree searched the wreck until Jake appeared and handed her the bomb's activation key that he had taken from Volker. The atomic bomb lay intact in the wreckage, harmless without the key. Days later, Jake returned to the British palace and met the king. He criticized the secrecy around the mission. The king admitted he had feared Jake might refuse the assignment if he knew the truth. Jake handed over the key while a recovery team secured the bomb. 1 week later, Jake and Dree relaxed on vacation. They planned to marry when their holiday ended. So the moral of the story is never mix priceless art with hidden nukes, or you might end up chasing a train, a bomb, and your own girlfriend all at once.